bless you, brothers and sisters. We are the brothers from the Gathering of Christ Church, here to deal with a profound topic tonight. We thank the Most High, Ahaya Bashim Yeshaya, Wa Rawak, that's the Most High in the name of Christ, whom most people in this earth call Jesus, and the Holy Spirit is Rawak. We thank the Most High for allowing us to come to you with a very profound and in-depth topic. The topic this evening is the Satanic connection from Babylon to Rome to America. Through this teaching, a lot of mysteries will be uncovered. A lot of understanding will come through the Spirit of the Most High out of these scriptures. If you have a Bible and Apocrypha, you can follow us. We will attempt to bring forth understanding that have been hid from ages and generations, like it says in Colossians 1 and 26. We will attempt to show you that the worship in this earth is connected to ancient Babylon, and that these spirits were carried over from the beginning, from empire to empire, and that the gods we're worshiping in this earth today are satanic, and that there's a small remnant in the earth, a very small remnant that's dealing with the truth of the Most High, that would understand and that would come to this knowledge. And we hope by these teachings that we can touch those elect. Also, you have the research to research yourself. We have a plethora of books here, many books, that if you don't believe what's being taught, you can research it yourself. All right? And if you decide to continue to deal in religion after you've received all this information, then that's a choice that you make at your own peril. Okay? We're going to start from the beginning. We're going to show you that Satan had a plan. We're going to show you who he was from the beginning. His plan was to be God. Okay? And that he would use any means, government and religion, to one day attempt to be ruler of the universe. Government and religion. Just remember that. And he's very deceptive, this serpent. He was able to hide himself and even appear to be God to the unlearned and the ignorant, and those that are attached to superstition or tradition. So in order to expose this deception, we must go into the Holy Bible. Not just any Bible. We use the King James Version. The King James Version is what we use, because it closely correlates to the Hebrew. We also use the Apocrypha, the King James Apocrypha. Alright? For those that are fairly new, that have not been following us, we have an original 1611 King James Bible. Alright? In the 1611, you see the Apocrypha. So if you don't have an Apocrypha, you're not learning from a complete Bible. Alright? Now, what is the satanic connection between ancient Babylon, Rome, and America? And we're bringing this forth also Because we're living in a country right now, America, that we know that according to the scriptures is called Babylon. It's the virgin daughter of Babylon. Same worships. We're going to prove that. The same deities and gods of ancient Babylon that was carried from the beginning, before the flood. But Satan, being a serpent and deceptive, being very deceptive, was able to hide this fact from the people. Make you think that America just showed up from nowhere and that it's not written anywhere in the scripture. They'll even make you believe that the Babylon that's written up in the scriptures that will be destroyed is Rome. Show you beyond any shadow of a doubt that Satan moved from empire to empire. Alright? When people were worshiping and following Nimrod in the past, they were so deceived they thought they was following the Most High. We're going to show you. And that's through every empire. When we look back at it, we can say it's satanic, but the people that were living in those societies thought they were doing the right thing. In pagan Rome, in Babylon, in Egypt, they were following traditions, customs that was handed down to them, and they thought they were doing the right thing. Now we're here in America. And I know this will get throughout the world, but for you in America, are you following the true God written of in the Bible, or are you following traditions and superstition and religion that was handed down through the serpent? Get your Bible, followers. We're going to go to the beginning. Let's go to Genesis 3 and 1. Because in order for us to know if there's a satanic connection between Babylon, Rome, and our modern day America, we must first go to the spirit that's behind giving these empires, that have given these empires power. The origin of this serpent. Genesis 3 and 1, read.
Genesis 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have the Most High said, Ye should not eat of every tree of the garden.
So, we know the story. There's a tree of good and evil in the garden. The Most High told Adam not to touch this tree. That as long as he's on the earth, he must only eat from the tree. With the tree of life, it would make Adam immortal. But the serpent went to the woman. Okay? He sees an opportunity to get dominion in the earth. And said, you're not going to die. Because the Most High know if you go and eat this tree of good and evil, you'll be like gods. You go eat that tree of knowledge, you'll be like gods. To understand both good and evil. Alright? Deceptive. He didn't go to Adam, because Adam would have checked him. He went to Eve. And Eve took it to Adam. And through that, the serpent gained power in the earth. But that's him in the earth in the garden. Let's go to the 15th verse.
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
So after Eve was deceived and fell to this serpent, this spirit, his spirit had an agenda. There was a curse that was put on mankind, that man had to till the ground now, that man would one day die. And this is the curse that was laid out. That he would put enmity between the woman's seed and the serpent's seed. Read that part again.
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Go ahead.
And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
So, the Most High was showing a war, a spiritual war, that would manifest itself in the physical. That until the consummation, Satan's seed would be in variance, continual variance, against the woman's seed. Continual variance. So all through the earth, until the consummation, from the beginning, there will be a battle between good and evil, and it would manifest itself in the physical. Alright? So now, in order for Satan's seed to battle against the woman's seed, he must get dominion in the earth. And through this dominion, eventually take down and destroy the righteous seed in the earth. And you're going to find he would use men determination for power and vanity, government, and religion. You must get them through what they believe and their institution of life. He did this through each society. And I'm pointing this out because we're taught that the God in the Old Testament was this bad guy. He was a different God. That's why we don't read the Old Testament. There's too much killing and too much bloodshed, too much back and forth. That's what we're taught. But we don't know why there was so much bloodshed. You're going to find out that there were bloodshed because of these two seeds battling in the Old Testament. The Most High, through each of these wars in the Old Testament, was putting his seed, which is his chosen people, in variance against the serpent seed. And each time these wars would escalate, the serpent would get away and started in another government. Yes. Government and belief. We're going to show you. I need you to go to Luke 10 and 18. And I'm going here because we have to give you the mindset of this serpent. His origin, his agenda. Luke 10 and 18.
St. Luke 10 and 18.
Read.
And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as a light falling from heaven.
Read it again.
And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
So Christ says he beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. When did he beheld? It says, I beheld, to let you know that the Spirit of Christ was there in the beginning. And he beheld that spirit that's in Satan hurled from the heavens. He's seen that spirit hurled or thrown to the earth. That's before the garden. So you read Genesis and you go right into the story of the serpent and don't know that the serpent spirit predates the garden. So when it says, let us make man in our image in Genesis, it was talking about the Son, Father, and the Holy Spirit. Christ was there in the beginning when the heavens was made, his spirit. And he beheld Satan hurled to the earth as lightning. Why? We're going to show you why. So he didn't just creep up into the garden and had a problem with mankind for nothing. Okay? He had an agenda. There's a reason Satan wanted to attack and destroy the creation or the image of the Most High in this earth, because he had indignation against the Ancient of Days, the Most High Ahaya. Okay? So we're going to show you the serpent's true origin and why he's so adamant with killing and destroying and setting up governments to destroy in the earth. Let's get Ezekiel 28 and 12. Start at 2. Ezekiel 28 and 2.
Ezekiel 28 and 2.
Read.
Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am the Most High. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man, and not the Most High.
Yet thou art a man, and not the Most High. Why does it say King of Tyrus? See, because since Satan is a spirit, in order for him to execute rule in the earth, he must entice man and set up kings and governments that would do his rule and power in the earth. He must use mankind. So the king of Tyrus, all these different kings, Pharaoh, you name them, were being utilized by Satan. Okay, and he said, and the spirit in the king Tyrus says that I am, and there's none else. So that's Satan claiming to be the Most High. The Most High name is I am. Go down to the 11th verse. And read from 11 to 17.
Verse 11. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus.
Take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say what?
And say unto him, Thus saith the Lord power, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been and eaten the garden of the Most High.
That's how you know it's talking about the serpent and not the king Tyrus in the book of Ezekiel. Because the king Tyrus was not in the Garden of Eden, but the spirit that was controlling King Tyrus was in the Garden of Eden. The serpent. Read that verse again.
Thou hast been in the garden Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, the gold, the workmanship of the tabrets and the pipes was prepared in thee the day that thou was created.
So the day that he was created, he was covered in all these different jewelry and diamonds. Lucifer was his name. The light. The morning star. Okay? He was covered in all types of jewels before he fell. He was one of the original angels. Okay? Before the earth was created. Read.
Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
He says, Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth the mercy seat up in heaven. So there's two cherubs before the Most High, and Lucifer was one of them. It was Lucifer and Michael, the two holy cherubs in heaven before he fell. Read.
And I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of the Most High.
He said, you was once up there at the holy mountain of the Most High. You was up there with the Most High at one point. Read.
Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire.
The stones of fire are the angels. So he had a place above the angels. He was up there, holy cherub, a leader of angels. Read.
Verse 15. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, so iniquity was found in thee.
Until sin was found in him. Okay? Lucifer wanted to be like the Most High. Lucifer wanted to disrespect the power that made him. Read.
Verse 16. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of the Most High, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
So he was thrown out from amongst the stones of fire. The stones of fire are angels. The angels are made of pure fire. Okay? So Satan was kicked out and had a problem with this decision. So because of that, he made a promise. Go to Isaiah 14. And start at the 12th verse.
Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
How did you fall from heaven, O Lucifer? Read.
Son of the morning.
He was called son of the morning. And the reason he was called son of the morning, he was the morning star. Okay? When a new day is coming in, he was so bright from the heavens, you could see him from the heavens. That's how bright he was. Read.
How art thou cut to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
How did you fall? Which did weaken the nations, to let you know that he would come in the earth and make all the nations weak. Okay? Through warfare, bloodshed, violence. That's what he'd do. He would creep into government and make the nations weak. Read.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven.
Now listen to this promise, because this is key here. We're gonna tie this in at the very end. Once he was hurled, Lucifer promised that he would do what?
I will ascend into heaven.
I will ascend unto heaven. How do you ascend? You have to go up. You have to fly. You have to go above the clouds. So he promised once he was thrown out that one day he would go back up to where the Most High is. How can he do that without using the physical? How can he get back to the heavens without using the people within the earth? He had a plan. Not only would he try to get back out into space, into the heavens, that he would use God's creation to help him fight against the Most High. Read that part again.
For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
So he promised to go beyond the stars of the Most High, which is space. So we know that the Most High is out there in space, because he says, the earth is my footstool. And he says that he would go up to try to sit on the congregation of the Most High. So he came into the earth mad at mankind. He needed to take the dominion of the earth to deceive the nations, to one day help him get back to the Father, to fight. So how can he do that without government? So we're going to go through all the governments, from the ancient government to our present time. Read on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, and the sides of the north.
The sides of the north is where the Most High is. As far north high as you can go, that's where he is. Okay? Read.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will what?
I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. That's what Satan promised. Now, in order for him to be like the Most High, he must shed this evil stigma, so to speak. Being a serpent, a cunning serpent, he must deceive the Most High's creation into believing he's good. And that the Most High that did this to him is evil. If he is to be like the Most High, we know that the Most High, or higher, the God of all gods, is worshipped. So he must take God's creation and have them turn their back on the Most High and worship Him. Okay? Now we must examine the scriptures thoroughly and make sure we're not deceived. That we're following the God that hurled Satan, not Satan. Here's a precept for that to show you that Satan himself would deceive the people and make you think that he's God or Christ. Go to 2 Corinthians 11th chapter and read the 14th verse.
2 Corinthians 11 and 14.
Read it.
For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Read it again.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
So Satan himself has transformed into an angel of light. See, if he came into the true form, no one would follow him. So he must make you believe you're following God or the Most High. But he cannot do that, again, without physical help from the Most High's creation. Read the next verse.
Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
So there is no great thing if his ministers, because Satan have ministers now, also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness. Read.
Whose end shall be according to their works.
And their end shall be according to their works. The ministers that are actually teaching Satan's doctrine, your end will be according to your works, because you should have read and understood what God you will follow. Okay? But going back, Satan appears as an angel of light. So it behooves everyone that's listening, learning, that's reading this Bible, it behooves you to figure out if you're following the angel of light, who's presenting himself as an angel of light, but it's really Lucifer turned Satan. He's going to deceive you. So the only way you'll know is through these scriptures, through filtering doctrine through scripture. But let's get back on the beaten path here. So we understand Lucifer was in the heavens. He was hurled into the earth. He deceived Adam and Eve to do what? Go to Job 9 and 24.
Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Read.
He covereth the face of the judges thereof.
And the wicked will cover the face of the true judges. So because Adam fell, Satan got power over the earth. All dominion was given to Adam when you read that in Genesis, the first chapter. And in the second chapter, you see that he named all the animals. So because of Adam's fall, the earth was given to Satan. Now, he's dealing with a race for time. So before he's judged, he needs to deceive the earth with their participation and go back to the Father and take down the Father. That's his mindset. I know a lot of you thinking, well, who can do that? Well, he's the same spirit that tried to go against the Most High before. That's the spirit that we're dealing with here. Okay? And he don't care. If every man and woman die for him to achieve this mission, then he don't care about that either. He don't care. Okay, so the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. He deceived Adam and Eve in the garden. Therefore, there's a war in the earth, a spiritual war, that's materialized in the physical against the seed that would come through the Most High and the Most High's people and the serpent seed in the earth. And you're going to find that the serpent, read that again, the earth is given to who?
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
This is showing something else too. You know what this is showing? this is showing that government is being controlled by Satan. So now, those of you that have left the Most High because you thought, well, how can so many bad things be happening if God is in control? Satan got the earth for a time. That's why there's so much evil and wickedness in the earth. He's the same power, because he's a power in this earth. That's what people have made him. Went before Christ and promised to give Christ all the things in the earth if he bowed down and worship him. He promised to give him dominion, power. Yes, the earth was given to him to let you know that these governments are being run by him. But we're going to show you. And no marvel that Satan himself appears as an angel of light on your money. In God we trust. In God we trust. And there's something. It says that on your money. We're going to get this dollar too. We're going to go into it. In God we trust. No marvel that Satan himself appears as an angel of light. Okay. Now we're going to Genesis the sixth chapter here. Genesis 6, you there?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to show you the beginning of how the serpent seed would come into the earth. And this seed will be at variance against the woman's seed. Read Genesis 6 and 1.
Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
These sons of the Most High are angels. They saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Okay? Good looking. These are angels looking at women. Now, how do you know this is angels and not people? When you look at the first verse, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth. That's men and women right there. Having sex and multiplying on the earth. And daughters was born unto them. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Now the Roman Catholic Church tried to hide this fact and say, well, these are the children of Seth. We're going to show you why they try to hide the identity of the sons of God. You're going to find that these are the gods they're worshiping in the Catholic Church. These are actually angels that came down and slept with women. Eventually, a lot of people don't know that Satan would eventually take a third of the heavens with him. So there were angels that were enticed, that came in the earth and slept with women. How do we know this? Go to 2 Peter 2 and 4. In the book of Jude. Get 2 Peter 2 and 4.
2 Peter 2 and 4. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned.
If he did what?
For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned.
That's crystal clear. If the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, read.
But cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person.
Now as you can see, this happened during the same time of who? Noah, the 8th person. Go to Jude, next to Revelations, right before Revelations. Right? And I need you to hold Jude and go to Job 1 and 6 to show you who the sons of God are. Read that.
Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord.
Now how many people on this earth go before the Most High to present himself to the Most High every day. Go in the heavens and present themselves before the Most High. Read that again.
Job 1 and 6. Now, there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
At that time, Satan had entrance into the heavens. So every sundown, the angels go report before the Most High. Satan would come also. Read.
Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou?
Where you coming from, Satan? Read.
Then Satan answered the Lord, and said, From going to and fro in the earth.
I was just walking up and down in the earth to let you know that that's Satan before the throne. So the sons of God are where? Before the throne. So not only are people are called sons of God, like those that follow the Most High and God's chosen people, like it says in the Bible, the angels are also called the sons of God. Go to the book of Jude 1 and 6.
Jude 1 and 6. And the angels, which kept not their first estate.
What are their first estate? Their first estate was what? The heavens. Read.
But left their own habitation. He hath reserved in everlasting chains, under darkness unto the judgment of that great day.
See that? They're in hell. They are bound in hell. The souls of those angels that came down and slept with women until Christ judged them. Okay? So Satan had a plan. Deceive some of the spirits to come down, to sleep with women, to sin against the Most High. Now they're trapped in the earth. Now that they're trapped in the earth, an evil seed is born. That at that time, Satan was using to destroy mankind. Now we understand why Noah was told prior to that by the Most High to build an ark. Go back to Genesis 6. Read it again. Start at the first verse.
Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
So they went and took themselves wives. Read.
Verse 3. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Go ahead. Cutting the life expectancy of humans. Read.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
There was what?
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Here's the children of those angels. They're called Nephilim, Napoleon. Okay? Satan's seed. A seed through sin that would be at variance against the woman's seed. There were what?
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of the Most High came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them.
So even after that, let's know after the flood, they materialized too. Read that last part. They did what?
And they bare children to them.
They gave children to these women. Read.
The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
They became mighty men of old, of renown, which through myth, the gods. Yes. These are the gods in mythology. Hercules and all these different, Mercury, and we're going to show you. So these myths didn't come out of the clear sky. All right? This was history before the flood. All right? Men of old men of renown. Read.
Verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
So much wickedness came from this act of angels sleeping with women. These hybrid beings was teaching all types of evil and wickedness and consuming mankind. It's going to tell you that. Read.
And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Go ahead.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth.
It repented the Most High that he even made man. Read.
And it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and creeping things, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. And guess what? Noah was the woman's seed. So eventually, if the Most High didn't put the Spirit on Noah to make an ark, that creation and those hybrid beings would have consumed the Most High's seed in the earth. The righteous seed that one day his son would come through. And you're going to find that these hybrid beings had inordinate sized skulls. They were very tall. Okay? Science hide this fact through calling them Neanderthal and saying that these people stem from apes 100 billion years ago. Okay? They hide the fact that these beings came to the earth and was dealing with high levels of what you would call angel technology and science to splice creation and splice animals and make hybrid beings like what you would call Tyrannosaurus rexes, dinosaurs, and all these hybrid types of animals that you might buy your kids.
Come on. Come on, little one, come on. Come on then. Come on then. Very good. Push. Push. Very good. God. Push. Come on. Come on. Come on then. There you are. There you are. There.
Surely not the ones that are bred in the wild.
Actually, they can't breed in the wild. Population control is one of our security precautions. There's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park.
So, in order to hide the fact that this happened, they masked all this history with science and told you that these animals lived on the earth 100 billion years ago. They did that so that if you're digging in the ground and come across one of these bones, you won't get alarmed. Of these inordinate footprints and skulls. This was Nephilim. This was the seed of the giants, the evil government that was established in the earth because they were set up as governors for a time during Noah's time. How do we know this? Don't forget, Satan works through government. It's written in the book of Jasher that they were set up as judges. Now, I know a lot of you asking, hold up, he just said that he only going to go out of the Bible in the Apocrypha. But you are correct. I am going to go out of the Bible. Coming straight from the Bible. I need you to get Joshua 10 and 13. Read that.
Joshua 10 and 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jasher?
Is it not written in the book of Jasher? So the Bible refer you to the book of Jasher. Yes. This is the book that the Catholic Church know exists. They'll never give it to you. The Bible refers us to the book of Jasher. Why? Because it's the book of our forefathers. This book in Hebrew was in the ark. And if you think that that was just a typo, go to 2 Samuel 1 and 18.
2 Samuel 1 and 18. Also he bade them, teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher.
It is written in the book of Jasher. It was translated out of the original Hebrew. Okay? The book of Jasher. And the same as your Bible, when you read, it says, faithfully translated from the original Hebrew into English. Okay? And it shows you in the book of Jasher that these giants and the angels that came down and slept with women were set up as judges. And they started doing all types of evil and wickedness and splicing of animals. How do we know this? I need you to read in the book of Jasher, the 4th chapter, and start at the 16th verse, right? And read down to the 19th verse. Read it.
Jasher 4:16. And all the sons of men departed from the ways of the Lord in those days, as they multiplied upon the face of the earth, with sons and daughters. And they taught one another their evil practices, and they continued sinning against the Lord. And every man made unto himself a god.
He made himself a what?
Unto himself a god.
They started dealing with idolatry and making gods to themselves before the flood. Now we understand why the Catholic Church is hiding the fact that these were actual angels. Because look how many idols and gods they worship up in their church. They even worship dead people. Read.
And they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor, as well as his relative. And they corrupted the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men.
That's how you know it's talking about the angels. Went to the daughters of men. They're the judges. They're set up. Satan has set these guys up. Read.
And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men, and took their wives by force from their husbands,
Go ahead.
according to their choice.
They committed adultery. Not only did they choose women, these were other men women. Read.
And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, and the beasts of the field, the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals.
They taught the mixture of animals. They started mixing animals with each other. Reptilians, reptiles with beasts. Read.
And taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other.
With one species to the other. That's your dinosaurs. Read.
In order therewith to provoke the Lord. And the Most High saw saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth, all men and all animals. And the Lord said, I will blot out man, that I created from the face of the earth, yea, from man to the birds of the air, together with cattle and beasts that are in the field, for I repented that I made them.
Same thing we read in Genesis, but it's in more detail. That's why they don't want you to have the book of Jasher, because this destroys your science and your philosophers. The knowledge of the Most High destroys your science. Okay? That's where your dinosaurs come from. So the Most High had to put the spirit on Noah to save the woman's seed. Alright? Now, got away. Noah got away with his children, but Satan, here it is, he's still on the earth. So he had to work on the other side of the flood. So he had to get into someone else to start his cycle again, to one day destroy the woman's seed.
With Nimrod, that while he was said to be the inventor of fire,
He was said to be the inventor of fire. So he was using fire as weaponry. Read.
he was also regarded as the first that gathered mankind into communities.
He was the first to gather mankind into communities. Read.
Along with the sun, as the great fire god, and in due time identified with him, was the serpent worshipped.
Hold up. It says the sun as the fire god. Read that part again, the last part you read.
Along with the sun, as the great fire god.
The sun as the great fire god. So he actually instituted the worshiping of the sun, or the acknowledgement of Sunday. And don't forget, this is the beginning here. This is way in Genesis. This is way before Constantine and the Catholic Church and the Romans. Read on.
Was the serpent worshipped.
Was the what worship?
was the serpent worshipped.
So who gave Nimrod his power? The serpent from the garden. Read on.
In the mythology of the primitive world, the serpent is universally the symbol of the sun. In Egypt, one of the most commonest symbols of the sun or sun god is a disc or a serpent around it.
I need you to show the image of the serpent that was worshipped during ancient Babylon. See that?
Got that.
Okay. So, now the serpent is going to use the government with Nimrod as the chief king and spiritual leader to put the people in communities and teach them ways against the Most High, to build a tower to fight against the Most High, to go into the heavens and fight the Most High. And you're going to find that this blueprint Nimrod used is used and it's advanced through each civilization. You're going to find Alexander the Greek used the same pattern as Nimrod. The Romans used the same pattern as Nimrod. America used the same pattern as Nimrod. Control the communities, control their thinking, and help them build. Join their armies, join their armed forces, join their, their lifestyle, to eventually use all your spirit and your force to get out in space and fight against the Most High. And while you're doing it, you're worshiping the serpent. We're going to bring it all together. Let's go into Nimrod real quick. Go to Genesis 11. Start at the first verse. Let's read a little quicker so we can get through it.
Genesis 11:1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one.
The people is one. Now they're one with Satan. They're not one with him. They're one against him. Satan again. The people are one. Read.
And they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
So if the Most High didn't stop them, they would have accomplished their feat, their mission. Okay? Their mission was to get before the Most High, because Lucifer knew exactly where the Most High is, but he need to use resources within the physical to one day get out in space. Read.
Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language.
Let's stop their language. So the angels had to come down and stop them from communicating. And it tell you in the book of Jasher that the Tower of Babel was so high, it would take 1.5 years for a man to walk from the base of it to the top. And it wasn't finished yet when the Most High confounded the language. That's how tall this building was. Read.
Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound their language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon all the face of the earth.
So, as you can see, for this feat, for them trying to do this evil act, there goes Lucifer again, trying to get back to the heavens, using people, communities, and government to be in one mindset against the Most High, to worship him with the sun and fire, and to be at variance against the Most High. Now, I'm sure a lot of these people thought they were doing the right thing. They were being deceived. The cunning serpent. He did it in the garden. He did it before the flood. Now he's doing it after the flood. Okay? Now, after this happened, okay, all the nations who reverenced Nimrod as a god that was under him, even though their language was split, they took the same ideology and the same understanding of the worship of Nimrod and his mother Semiramis with them. That's the reason you can go to each culture and see the similarities in each religion. Alright? So they were able to take these religions that Nimrod gave them and start them in their own lands in different languages. Same religion, different language. Alright? So that's why certain things are celebrated at the same time all over the earth. Like December 25th. You might think that that's a newfound holiday to follow here in America, when America is really a modern society. People were celebrating December 25th well before Christ was on the earth. Nimrod's birthday is December 25th. Yes, ancient Babylon. You name it. I'm going to go into a few of those. I have it right there in front of me. All these societies started their worship and their belief and their structure of government from ancient Babylon. Okay, there's no separation of church and state. In order to get the people to follow Satan, he must control your government and how you're governed, and you have to control your spiritual connection. You have to control your spirit religiously, and you have to control your form of government. There's no separation. He must control the two. Alright? Now, going along, it went into Egypt. We're not going to go all the way into Egypt right now. We're going to say that for another time. We're going to do a tape on Egyptology. But we mentioned from Babylon to Rome to America, the Satanic connection. In this book, I'm going to get it. I'm going to read something, if you don't mind. It shows. That's how you know it. This is the reason. This is how you know that it's talking about that all the nations, that were at the tower took the same worship, because they all had the Madonna, which is Semiramis, Nimrod's mother, and the virgin baby. Okay? They had the same gods, and they took them all over the earth. So it doesn't matter what society you go into, you will find the same deities. You have people with the mother in Madonna that have never frequented Europe ever in their life. Let me get it out of here real quick here. Here's an example from ancient Babylon. You have Semiramis and child in ancient Babylon. Okay? And the same in India. See that? Same in India, these figures. So they were able to take the Madonna and child with them, because this is what they learned under Nimrod. Different language, same religion. And this links directly to our religions today. Primarily Christianity. Alright? I'm going to read. Exactly so in this latter respect. And I'm on page 20. Also was in ancient Babylon. The Babylonian and the popular religion supremely worshipped a goddess mother and a son, who was represented in pictures and in images, okay, as an infant or child in the mother's arms. From Babylon, this worship of the mother and the child spread to the ends of the earth. In Egypt, the mother of the child was worshipped under the names of Isis and Osiris. In India, even to this day, as Isi and Iswara. In Asia, as Cybele and Diois. In pagan Rome, as Fortuna and Jupiter Pior, or Jupiter the boy. Greece, as Ceres, the great mother, with the babe at her breasts. I wonder. In ancient Babylon, I see the goddess, the pagan goddess, a star, holding a torch. From ancient Babylon. Okay, at this time, during this period, this is archaeology. There were no pictures. Alright? This is how they made their pictures, from stone. And then later on, in Rome, she was called Ceres, which is the pagan satanic Roman goddess. And then this is the same goddess as Semiramis in Rome. And she have horns. And lo and behold, the French sent her to us, or America, in 1886. Same gods, different language. The serpent. I'm going to hold this for later. So the question we have is, how did it get from Babylon to Rome to America? So now we understand. The serpent is using each society in setting up government and religious structures to control the communities and bring them into one order under him. Now, to further go into the knowledge on how this went from Babylon to Rome, we must first go into the two children, Jacob and Esau. Okay? Now you must go into the beginning. That's why we're starting here in Genesis, to understand our present time. Let's go to Genesis, the 25th chapter, to show you how the serpent would come into one of these nations and cause racial tension in the earth, where it would be in the future one race fighting against another race. The serpent seed and the woman seed. Who would he use? How did he get to Rome, or to Greece, or to America? Let's go to Genesis 25 and start at 21. Read.
Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
So Isaac prayed to the Most High because she was barren. She could not have any children. Rebekah could not have any children at this time. Read.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
The Lord heard his prayer. Rebekah got pregnant. Read.
And the children struggled together within her.
So she didn't have one child in her womb. There was two. They struggled together. It was a fight in her womb. Read.
And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So she's asking, Lord, if you've blessed me to have children when I couldn't, why am I going through these inordinate pains? So the pain was so severe, she went to talk to the Most High. Why is she going through these pains in her womb, in her belly? What is it? Read.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb.
Two nations are in thy womb. Now the Lord is letting her know why she's dealing with the struggle and these inordinary pains in her stomach. 2 nationalities or 2 races is in this one woman's womb. Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy
He
bowels.
told Rebekah, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. They ought to be separated from birth. Okay? Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Now look, there's 2 different races coming into the earth. One stronger than the other. Okay? So obviously, in the future, there will be some what? Racial tension. Alright? See, we don't understand why there's racial tension today because we don't read the Old Testament. We don't read the Bible and understand that these things were predestined. One shall be stronger than the other in what?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
So the Lord told Rebekah that the first child that come out of your womb will be the servant to the younger brother. Read.
Verse 24. And where her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So when it was time for her to have children, the prophecy was fulfilled. They were twins. She brought forth twins. Now let's imagine this. Let's put our minds back here for a moment. Now we know that usually the first child that's born is the heir to the inheritance of his father. But the Lord was doing something different here. He said the elder shall serve the younger. Now, based on that alone, you can see how the serpent can creep up in the future on this older child. Because everything belongs to him, right? He's the heir. But the Lord says, the elder shall serve the younger. So now you can see how it's coming into play. How the serpent can use that as a pretext, an opportunity to link to the older child. But I don't want to give it all away. I'm going to show you how it happened according to Scripture. But it's nothing that Esau, who came out first, there's nothing he could do. And we're going to show that. Because the prophecy was written before Jacob and Esau was born. Read the next verse.
Verse 25.
We're at 25 and 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And the first came out red,
And the first came out red.
all over like an hairy garment.
And the first child, the servant, came out red all over like a hairy garment. Okay? And there's no such thing. Now this is where race come into play. I know it's a little delicate, but we have to tell the truth. Because all races are contained in the earth. This is where race come into play. There's no such thing as black people per se. Okay? Like for instance, let me grab something here. This is a headband. This is black. There's no such thing as black people. People are shades of brown. By the same token, there's no such thing as white people. This sheet of paper is white. Alright? The first came out red because the first child did not have melanin. Melanin is what makes you brown. If you don't have melanin, your blood show forth through your skin. That's red. If you pinch yourself, that becomes red. Okay? The first came out red. Perfect example. If I show you a picture of Cesar Borgia, like we're going to show you a little later. As you can see, the paper around him, the color around him, which is the paper, is white. But you see Cesar Borgia, he's shades of red or pink. That's just an example that we're going to bring out later. So the first, now this is a phenomenon in the earth. This is the first time and the first and only time where 2 different nations are going to come out of the same woman. So when her days were to be delivered, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name who?
And they called his name Esau.
That's Esau. That's the first brother. That is the father. That is the father of the purebred Idumean or Edomite or Caucasian race. Read on.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out.
It says, and after that came his brother. And what was his name?
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
And his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Read.
And his name was called Jacob.
And his name was Yaquab or Jacob. All right. So now, as you notice, the Bible did not describe the color of Jacob. Why? Because Jacob looked exactly like the other people in the earth. There was no need for description. But because there was a new race coming into the earth, diverse or different, and a different mannerism from the people before it, the Bible had to identify the different child. Okay? The first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right? Don't forget, the Bible says that Esau was to be the servant. After his brother came out, and it says, and Jacob's hand took hold of Esau's heel. So what do that represent? Okay? Is that an analogy? Let's see. Go to the Apocrypha and get 2nd Esdras out of the Apocrypha. You have it in here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have a Bible with the Apocrypha in it right here. Read 2nd Esdras 6, 8, and 9 to give the precept on what that means that Jacob took hold of Esau's heel. Now you have to understand how this works. The head or the crown is the beginning. The heel is the end. The head is the beginning that comes out. The heel is the end. 2nd Esdras 6, 8, and 9. Read that.
2nd Esdras 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, and Jacob and Esau were born of him.
Go ahead.
Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. You know, his foot is the end. Why? Read.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
For Esau is the end of the world. So that's showing, according to Scripture, who would be ruling at the end of the world. We're at the end of the world. And we know that after this rulership, Christ will bring Jacob's rulership or Israel's rulership in the earth. It's going to read it. Read on.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. To show you that it will be a change of hands or change of dominion without separation. The hand was connected to the heel. So as soon as Esau's power or kingdom fall, Jacob's is next without separation. So when Christ come back, he's bringing forth Jacob's kingdom. That show you that Esau is the end of the world, identifying who are the children of Esau according to the Bible. Go back to Genesis 25. Because just like we mentioned earlier, how the serpent need a nation or government or people to execute his rule in the physical. All right? Now we're going to show you how this happened here. Go back to Genesis 25 and finish reading. Because it's going to show you some attributes of Jacob and Esau. Okay? Read.
Verse 27. And the boys grew.
Genesis 25 and 27. The boys grew.
And Esau was a cunning hunter.
He was a what?
Was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Who was the first hunter? A cunning hunter. See, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So Esau's children will be just like his father. Jacob's children would be just like his father. Esau was a cunning hunter, out in the field, killing animals and doing all type of gaming in the field. Okay? Read.
a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
Jacob was a what?
Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
So Jacob didn't like the outside, the killing deer and sporting outside. Jacob stayed home. He dealt with things, you know, the domestic things around the house or around the neighborhood. He didn't go out into the field. Okay? Read.
Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
See, Isaac loved Esau because Esau went to get the food. Okay? But Rebekah loved who? Jacob. You know why? Because of that vision or that prophecy the Most High gave her. To tell her that the elder shall serve the younger. So she knew the blessed child. She cleaved to the blessed child. The child that the Most High chose before they were born. Okay? Read on.
Verse 29. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field.
So Jacob was making some pottage. You know, he was a man that stayed home in the tent. So he used to make the food. He stayed around moms. So he learned how to cook. So he was sodding some pottage. And what happened with Esau?
And Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
He was faint. Like he was ready to die. He needed some nourishment. Read.
Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint.
He said, feed me with that same red pottage. So there was blood in the water. The food or the meat was not done. Feed me with that same red pottage. Read.
For I am faint.
Go ahead.
Therefore was his name called Edom.
Edom, which means red or blood. Red. So because he liked his food rare, his name was changed to Edom. Read.
Verse 31. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright.
So Jacob said, okay, I'll feed you. Let me get that birthright. Read.
Verse 32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?
He said, listen, I'm going to die anyway. What good is this birthright? So he didn't even have respect of the gift of the birthright that the Most High gave him. Okay? Now, we know that before they were born, it was already prophesied, the elder shall serve the younger. But this is that prophecy playing out in the physical. Okay? Cause and effect. Things have to happen to allow the prophecy to come to pass. So the Most High had him out in the field dealing with something to the point where he thought he was going to die. He was so faint. He needed nourishment. And that's when the opportunity presented itself for Jacob to get the birthright. The same birthright the Most High told Rebekah that second child would receive. Okay? Read.
Verse 33. And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink, and rose up, and he went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Esau despised his own birthright. You see that? So now the prophecies are being fulfilled. Jacob, which is the future father of the Israelites, now have the birthright. It's established that the birthright went to Jacob. All right? Now, I know some would think that Jacob is the bad guy here. He deceived him. He tricked him into getting the birthright when it didn't belong to him. All right? But when you read Genesis, it distinctly tells us that the prophecy of the birthright would go to Jacob. Don't forget, Rebekah was told the elder shall serve the younger. The older, or the elder, is Esau. He was meant to be a servant to Jacob, his younger brother. So this was just a scenario played out to allow that prophecy to be fulfilled. So, but in case you think that, because it is taught in Christian churches today, and I'm going to show you why later, why they teach that Jacob was a deceiver and he was wrong. And, you know, they call him the deceiver in churches. When in the New Testament, it tells us why the Most High set a scenario for Jacob to get the birthright. Go to Romans, the 9th chapter, and read. Let's start at the 11th verse.
Romans 9 and 11. For the children.
Start at the 10th verse. And you follow us. Read.
Verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
It says the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. So it was told to Rebekah before they were born. Before Jacob side pottage. Before Esau was in the field. It was said to her what?
That the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand.
That the purpose, according to election, might stand. The Most High elected Jacob before he was born to get the birthright and the blessing. So we can't look at the scenarios that allow that to happen and point to that and say that Jacob is wrong. Read.
Not of works.
Not of works. It's nothing they did, but what?
But of him that calleth.
But of him that calleth. It's the Most High that called Jacob to be the chosen. Read.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
It was said to Rebekah, the elder shall serve the younger. The pottage was just a scenario to allow that prophecy to come to pass. Read.
As it is written.
As it is written where? In the Bible. In the book of Malachi. What's written?
Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Jacob have the Most High loved, but Esau have he hated. Okay? Now he loved Jacob because he gave his laws, statutes, and commandments to Jacob. In the Old Testament, Jacob is called the Most High's woman. Okay? He's a wife of the Most High. Why? Because these are the people the Most High will give his laws, statutes, and commandments to execute his power in the earth. To show the earth righteousness. It says, Esau have I hated because Esau was the reverse of Jacob. Esau is setting up things contrary to the laws of the Most High. And we're going to show that. The serpent seed and the woman seed. We're going to show that. Okay? So it's not of works, but the Most High that calleth. He chose one. And some of you might feel a certain type of way about that and say, well, that's not right. Hold up. Even the image of the Most High, which are humans, have choice. Okay? I decided to put a white shirt on this evening. Now, I have different color shirts in my closet. But because the shirts belong to me, I can choose what shirt I want to put on. The yellow shirt can't jump out of my closet and say, why you didn't wear me? I own the white shirt and the yellow shirt and the red shirt and the green shirt. So the other shirts can't come and say, why don't you wear me? I chose my shirt. So if we can choose, cannot the Most High? So that means the Most High have put attributes in the image of him that he didn't even give himself. Okay? So yes, the Most High do choose. And you're going to find out through that choice that Lucifer, or Satan, that's who he is now, used this scenario between these two children as a pretext to link to the hurt child. To link to the child that was hurt, that felt deprived, because he felt deprived when he was hurled. To bring forth government and religion. Since the Most High didn't want to give Esau the blessing and the birthright, Satan promised him the world and to hand Jacob over to him if he would serve and set up a world for Satan so that the people could worship Satan. We're going to prove that. That's where your pagan beliefs come in at. He couldn't do it with Nimrod. Nimrod was finished. He tried it before the flood. The Most High flooded the earth. He tried it with Nimrod after the flood. The Most High split the tongue. Now, Satan is trying it again. I'm going to show you. He can only link into you if you are emotional or if you're dealing with some type of hatred towards your brother. And you're going to find that Satan linked in with Esau. And we're going to show you the point that he linked into him. Okay? We're going to show you that point. He linked into Esau to set governments and a structure in the earth where Satan could rule and be worshipped as the Most High. But let's get to the blessing to show you why Esau got so angry or became so angry. Go to Genesis 27:1. Start at the first verse. Read.
Genesis 27:1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore, take, I pray thee, take weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat of thy father, such as he loveth.
Now let's show this. Examine this for a second. All right. She overheard Isaac telling Esau to go make some meat. So Esau go to hunt. Right? She overhear this and go get Jacob and say, No, Jacob, I'm going to make this food for you just the way your father loved it. Right? Now just examine this for a second. Some of you might think she's wrong for doing this. But why is Rebekah doing this? Remember the children struggling in their womb? And she went and asked the Most High, why is this pain so hard? Why am I hurting like this? And the Most High says, 2 nations are in thy womb. There's a fight in your womb, woman. And the elder child shall serve the younger. They was fighting so much that even at the end, when it was time for her to deliver the baby, he had his hand on Esau's heel. They was fighting in the womb the whole time. And the Most High told her, listen, the elder shall serve the younger. Yes. So now, she's helping the prophecy be fulfilled. She cannot let Esau come back with that venison and get the blessing, knowing that the Most High gave her the information to know that that blessing belonged to her son Jacob. Now, why didn't Isaac know this? Because the Most High didn't tell Isaac. He told Rebekah. Okay? Read.
Verse 11. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
He said, but hold up, I'm smooth. Esau is hairy. I'm not going to be able to get away with this. What did the mother say?
Verse 12. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall see to him as a deceiver. And I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing.
Go ahead.
And his mother said unto him,
Go ahead.
Upon me be thy curse, my son.
She said, let the curse be on me. She knew everything was going to be all right. Because the Most High told her before the children were born. Read.
Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went, and fetched, and he brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of the eldest son Isaac, which were with her in the house, and put upon them Jacob her son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave
So that's how hairy this guy was. Esau was so hairy that she had to take fur off of skin and put it on Jacob's hands. That was a hairy guy. Read.
Verse 17. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that my soul may bless me.
Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord power brought it to me.
Now, was he lying right here? No, he wasn't lying. The Most High did bring it to him. The Most High had his mother Rebecca overhear the conversation he had with Esau. And the Most High made it so that he could get this blessing, because it was promised before the children was born. I'm going to keep repeating that, because it's taught in the Christian church. They try to make Jacob out to be this deceiver or liar. They call him in the Christian church Jacob the deceiver. When the Most High promised Jacob and his children everything in the earth before they were born. Read.
Verse 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may fill thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
Go ahead.
And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
Go ahead.
And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, and his brother's Esau as his brother's Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Go ahead.
And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee.
Man, that's a blessing right there. Read.
Cursed be everyone that curseth thee.
Cursed be everyone that go against you. Read.
And blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce going out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
No soon as Jacob got this blessing and left, Esau coming. Now here he is. He got his animal and everything. You know, he was probably sweating all out in the field, jumping behind trees, shooting things, trying to make it work. Now he finally have this venison, all tired after hunting. And what do we have to show for it? Read the next verse. What verse are you at here?
Verse 31.
Read that.
And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father.
So he was then cooking, he was putting the seasons on that thing, he was getting it ready. And then what happened?
And said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou?
Who are you? Read.
And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
He said, yeah, and he gonna be blessed. Like, I can't take that blessing back. That's what Isaac is saying here. Read.
Verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great exceeding bitter cry.
So he got totally upset. Read.
And he said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Can you give me something, Father? What did Isaac bless him with? Read.
And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, It is not he rightly named Jacob?
He said, listen, I named that kid right. His name is Jacob. Jacob is Yaiquab, which means supplanter. He knows how to supplant. Read.
For he hath supplanted me these 2 times.
Go ahead.
He took away my birthright, And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing.
Yes. He took away his blessing. Why? Because the blessing belonged to Jacob before they were born. Alright? So now, this guy is totally upset. First of all, he is the firstborn. He came out first. His father loved him. Alright? And he did everything right for his father. He did it right. Went out to get the kid. The kid goat, killed the goat, did everything right. And Jacob got it before him. Now, most people would get upset here. You have to realize this is not a regular blessing here. This blessing comes down to the people that will rule the universe. Starting with the earth. Read.
And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
He said, listen, Father, can you give something to me? Read.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren I have given to him for servants, and with corn and with wine have I sustained him.
Go ahead.
And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
He said, listen, I done gave everything to your brother. What can I do for you? Read.
And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Father, at least give me one blessing. Now I need you to examine this blessing carefully. Through this blessing, if you haven't already, you will be able to identify who Esau is today. Read.
Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live.
By the what?
And by the sword shalt thou live.
By the sword you should live. So you will live by killing. You will live by war. You will live as the hunter. Read.
And shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
He says, it's going to come a time, Esau, you will have dominion. You will rule the earth. At that time, you shall break the yoke of this curse off of your neck. So he's telling Esau, there will come a time that Jacob will be under you. And we're in that time now. You're going to find out that's why the minorities catch so much pain, so much sorrow in this earth, because of what happened right here. Read.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Go ahead.
And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Then I will what?
Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Then I will slay my brother Jacob. So he promised that once his father died, he would one day take Jacob down. And that's being fulfilled in the earth right now. So because he hated his brother, what spirit came into him? Dealing with so much emotion, sorrow, and anger. Satan. So he promised that once his father died, he would one day take Jacob down. And that's being fulfilled in the earth right now. So there was another spirit in the beginning that had the same spirit. Lucifer, because he was so beautiful and was hurled into the earth, he had a problem against the Most High and took down Adam. Then you had Cain, because he was jealous of his brother, murdered his brother Abel. Now you have Esau, who felt that he rightfully deserved the birthright and blessing, and it went to his brother Jacob. So Satan used those that are hurt, those that don't forgive. He come in and take them and use them for his purpose. Now, let's move this into modern times, because we're gonna see if we can get through this quickly. Matter of fact, let's stay back a little bit. Let's go into the origin of Esau so we can see who the serpent was using against God's people Israel, and what tools they use in the earth. Spiritually, which is through religion, and politically through government. Get Esau out of here. This is a Zondervan Bible Dictionary, a compact Bible dictionary by Zondervan. One of the better Bible dictionaries you can purchase. All right. Let's get Esau out of the Bible dictionary here. Esau. It says, no, let's get Edom, because we know that his name was turned to Edom after he ate that red pottage. Edom. And this also proves, when we read this, that Edom is still in the earth. You have people teaching that Edom no longer exists, but can't give you the dates in history of when Esau was totally exterminated. That's madness. You have people in the earth saying Edom don't exist anymore, and you have people that says that Israel don't exist anymore. The true Israelites don't exist anymore. That's madness. How can the two of the main people that fare prominently in prophetic scriptures don't exist? Read Edom from the Bible dictionary here. Read that.
Edom figures prominently in prophetic scriptures.
Go ahead.
As the scene of great future judgments.
As the what?
As the scene of great future judgments.
As the scene of great future judgments. Edom is still here. He just hid himself by calling himself different names. That's Psalms 49 and 11. Read.
She is the only neighbor of the Israelites.
She's the only neighbor of the Israelites
who is not given any promise of the mercy of the Most High.
That have not received any promise or mercy from the Most High. Why? Because Satan linked into him after he was upset. And because Esau lost the birthright, he became lawless. So when Satan gave him dominion, he decided to set up an earth without laws and without morals. But he can only do this through government and power and through fear when it comes to weaponry. So, let's bring it up. We go to Genesis 36. Let's get through it now to show you how Esau set himself up, because even Isaac let him know that the yoke would be broke off of him, that one day he would rule in the earth. And you're going to find out he ruled. He ruled as who? He ruled as the Greeks, the Romans, the 10 horns, and he eventually ruled America. We're going to show you the connection between ancient Babylon, Rome, and that satanic government is the one we're living in today. Until this day, Esau still have his foot on Jacob's neck. Get Genesis 36. Stick with me. Now we're talking about from the government structure. We're not talking about individuals. There are some Edomites or people of Esau that are not following the spirit of their father. They're following the spirit of Christ. So let's make that distinction. We're not putting all these Edomites in the same, in the same barrel here. Read Genesis 36 and 1. Read it.
Genesis 36 and 1. Now these are the generations of Esau.
These are the generations of Esau.
Who was Edom. Esau took his wife.
Esau is who?
Who was Edom.
Esau is Edom. Edom means red. The Idumeans were Edomites. When did they dwell? Go down to the 9th verse.
Verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites.
The father of who?
Of the Edomites.
So all the children that came from Esau are Edomites. These are their biblical names. Now it's hard to find out who they are today, because when Esau got power in the earth, he renamed all the people in the earth. he started calling people different names like European influence on certain names. Chinese and Japanese and African and all these different names that are not biblical names. They did this to hide themselves. Hold that, and I'm going to show that. Go to Psalms 49 and 11. Even though they try to hide themselves, they are identified by prophecy. They are identified by their attributes and their power and rulership structure on the earth. Because the Bible shows exactly what they would do in the earth. So you can hide your name, but you can't hide your actions. Read Psalms 49 and 11. Read that.
Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is this, that their houses shall continue forever.
So they think that they're going to continue forever. Read.
And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
They call what?
They call their lands after their own names.
They call their lands after their own names. So instead of the biblical names of the land now, they'll come into a land and say, okay, Americus Vespucci discovered America. Americus Vespucci. That's a good name. Let's name this biblical land America. Now you don't know who the people are on the land because they renamed the land. The same thing with Africa. Africa's name wasn't Africa. It was Ham. The land of Ham. After what? Ham's children. Mizraim. Cush. For what? You understand? These were all Hamitic people. Canaanites. So what did they do? They just went there and took the whole land and say, let's name it Africa. Okay? You can hide your name, but you cannot hide the actions. Okay? Let's go back. Now, to those who might think that Esau is not who they are, because we know who they are, because the Lord tell you they dwell in high places. Read Genesis 36 and 1 again.
Genesis 36 and 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom.
Who is Edom? Read.
Esau took his wives of the
Go down to the 9th verse.
Verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir.
And Mount where?
And Mount Seir.
They're from the mountains because they're the only people that never were promised land. They lived in mountains. Mountain terrains. Mount Seir, later on, the Caucasus Mountains. The Idumeans were from the Caucasus Mountains. The Jewish people today are from what? Russia, right near the mountains. The Caucasus Mountains. Before that, the Asians were in those European isles. Now, in case you might think that these people, which are primarily Caucasian, because they're red, if you think that they are Japheth, this proves that they're not Japheth. I need you to go to Genesis 36 and 20. You're there, right? Read the 20th verse.
Verse 20. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land Lotan, and Shobal, and Zibiah, and Anna.
Now, it says, these are the sons of Seir, the Horite. Edom had a child named Horite, or they were called Horites in certain areas. When you look at Horite, it tell you Horite in the it's in the Hebrew it's Hariyah. Okay? It's Hariyah, excuse me. And in the Hebrew, if you have your Strong's Concordance, it's 2356 in your Strong's Concordance. Look it up. And Horite in Genesis 36 from the mountains means cave dweller. Cave dweller. Look it up yourself. The only people that are known through history to live in caves are Caucasians. Because the other people in the earth had land. The seeds of Shem had land. The seeds of Japheth had land. and the seeds of Shem had land. There was no need to live in high terrain or mountains. But Esau, which was a different nation from Jacob, because he was a diverse nation who came later, after the land was already given to the people, had to go into the mountains because there was no land for them. Okay? That's who Edom is. And that shows why they must go and take their lands, because there was no land promised to them. Alright? Now, we're not saying this, from a racist angle. We're saying this because this is the Bible. This is how we should teach this. This is filling in the gaps to let you know why there's so much tension and why things are going on in the earth. Because if you don't know, you'll start to blame some of these things that are happening on the Most High and think the Most High don't exist. So we must let you know that this is prophecy. This is prophecy. You need to know who are the people and who are the governments ruling today. So you'll know if you're following Satan or the Most High. Because your government is behind your religious institutions. They're behind your beliefs. They're behind your political beliefs. So you must know if you're in a satanic government. And it's our job as teachers to expose the evil. Now, let's move from Mount Seir, the Caucasus Mountains, to the next ruler. Go to the book of Obadiah to show you some more attributes of Edom, who the serpent would use through religion. Because the Most High had a belief and an understanding that he gave to his people. And he told Israel to stay away from the Gentile or the heathen customs. Because Satan had the heathens. He told Israel, stay away from the heathen customs. And he said, if you deal with the heathens, they will turn you away from following me. That's what read the Old Testament. All through the Bible. He said they're going to turn you from following me. Because the heathens had their religion from the Tower of Babel. So when the tongues were split, they took that same satanic religion from Babylon, from Nimrod, and continued those wicked practices in their respective lands. So the Most High said, not his people. I'm going to separate you from them and give you my laws, statutes, and commandments, knowing one day you will have to share this to the world to condemn what Nimrod did at the tower. Let's go into it. Read the book of Obadiah. Let's go there. You there? Mm-hmm. Start at the first verse.
Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom. Edom is red. Alright? Edom, as we know, is the full-blooded Caucasian today. Read.
We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
He made Esau small among all the nations in the earth. Read.
Thou art greatly despised.
They are greatly despised because everywhere they went in the earth they brought war. Read.
The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
And the Most High say the pride have deceived them. You was just up in the rocks and now you're proud and acting like you're God in the earth. Read.
Whose habitation is high.
It says whose habitation is high because they come from the mountains. Read.
That saith in his heart, who shall bring me to the ground?
And they're so proud now. They said in their heart, who's going to bring me down to the ground? Who's going to stop me? Here's another wicked thing they're doing. They're allowing atheist teaching and science to be taught in the earth. If this was a God-fearing people or a God-fearing government, they would never allow such teachings. Government can control what the people believe in. They do it in the Middle East. You're not going to go in the Middle East and say what you want to say and do what you want to do. So the government do have that power to execute God's rule in the earth. And you might think that's wrong. The government shouldn't have power, shouldn't control what people believe. What do you think Christ's going to do when he come here? You think you're going to believe what you want when he's bringing a government and a belief? And if you believe anything else besides what Christ is bringing, you cannot be in his kingdom. So government should uphold the laws and execute the laws of the Most High in the earth. That's their job. That's why the Lord set up Israel as a government, to represent him, to oppose the wickedness in this world. Read.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Though they exalt thyself as what?
As the eagle.
As the eagle. That's a sign. You can't hide from that. You can call you can say I'm German, I'm this, I'm that, but you can't hide the fact that the eagle is your government emblem. That's how you identify Edom today. What governments they have with the eagle as their emblem. Here's an eagle behind a little boy who was Zeus, or the god Zeus, gay lover. It says, although Zeus was well known for the dalliances with various women, and thus infuriating his wife, the goddess Hera, Zeus didn't limit himself to young women. At least once he also fell in love with a young boy. Now don't forget, Zeus is the greatest god in Greek mythology. And in Greek mythology, he fell in love with a young boy named Ganymede, son of King Tros of Troy. And what do this little boy have behind him? Zeus, gay lover, an eagle. Read that again.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
So the Greek's emblem is the eagle. The Roman Empire emblem is the bald eagle. The Roman Empire. America emblem, you see it on the post office, is the eagle. You see it on your dollar, on your quarter, the eagle. See here. Though thou exalt thyself as the what?
As the eagle.
Look at his head. Edom cannot hide because he used the eagle as his emblem. What is this? Right over the eagle is what? The sun. The worshiping of the sun. Right over the eagle. Linking directly to Nimrod. The worship of the sun. In ancient Egypt they did it also. And now they're doing it today in America, worshiping on Sundays. In the midst of the sun is a six-pointed star, which is the star of Moloch. Moloch is Satan. And on the money it says, in God we trust. The question is, what God are they talking about? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, read.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars. Another sign of who Esau, Edom is. What government or people came together to go out in space? To set your nest. That means you can live out in space. Now you have to examine the attributes or the attitude or character of an eagle. When they quote unquote claim they went to the moon.
Eagle, Houston, we see you on the stereo.
There's this famous statement that was made. The eagle has landed.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Right? Now check out an eagle. An eagle will look at you. It has sight. Where it can almost see an insect on an animal on the ground from miles away from the sky. It can look at its prey and examine how the prey lives, how it nurtures, how it interacts. It examines every nuance of its prey before he pounces. Now examine how the eagle works on Esau's level. He'll put a satellite in the earth, or over the earth, around the earth, to watch the people from space. He'll watch your every move. Find out what you love, what you hate. Look at your patterns to one day make you pray. This is an old game they play. And it came from who? Nimrod. But guess who perfected it? Alexander the Greek. We're going to go into him in a moment. Also, it says, Eagle standard taken from a German Mercedes half-track staff car, 1944. These were the emblems on the Nazis' cars. See, they make you think that Germany was separate from the government rule of Edom. When really, the earth is doing the same thing Hitler did. Okay? Hitler was financed by who? He was financed by the Bushes. The Bushes backed Hitler. They try to make it look like Hitler was this separate idea from Edomite rule. The eagle with the swastika under it. Right? Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Daniel 7. Let's show you how they moved from Idumea, Mount Seir, okay? The next empire they were dealing with after they were in the Caucasus Mountains was the Greek Empire. Show you how Satan went from one place to the next. Now we don't want to break down the whole thing. I need you to go to Daniel 7 and 6.
Daniel 7 and 6. And after this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast also had 4 heads. And dominion was given to it.
And dominion was given to it. Who gave it dominion? Go to Job 9 and 24. Who gave this beast dominion? I need you to read it again. After you read Job 9 and 24.
Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of who?
The hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Go back and read that again.
Daniel 7 and 6. After this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
That leopard is Alexander the Greek. He's on a Greek coin here, and on his head there's a leopard skin. Now the Europeans call this guy Alexander the Great. Now there's nothing great about this guy. Alright? Nothing great about him. They called him great because he was able to conquer for the Idumean world. Now read it. He had upon his back what?
He had upon his, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
4 wings of a fowl. The 4 wings of a fowl that came out of Alexander the Greek. Now before Alexander the Greek, hold up, let me make sure I put this here. Okay, before Alexander the Greek, let me get it here. Before Alexander the Greek, you had Romulus and Remus. 2 children through European mythology, and you can find this same image in Rome, okay, today. They were known to have been reared by a she-wolf. Is that, you got that study? They was known to be reared by a she-wolf. They was raised like Tarzan. Okay? Romulus would one day be the founder of Rome. Remus was the father of the Greeks. Okay? They hold these people in high stature, because these were the brain trust of the Idumeans or Edomites that would one day rule the world. After that came the leopard, Alexander the Greek, which we're showing here. From him came 4 rulers like 4 wings of a fowl. What four generals came out of Alexander the Greek? Seleucid, who took over Persia. Ptolemy, which took over Egypt, and we're going to hit that in 1 second. Lysimachus, that took over Asia Minor. And Cassandra, that took over Macedonia. Now, one thing they did by taking over these areas, they made people think through time that they were the people that originated in these areas. But really, they took these places by conquest. Okay? They took Persia. Okay? So some of their people started migrating with the Persians. So you got some regular Persians there, and you have Idumeans there, or Edomites there. Same thing with Egypt. Like when you see Mark Antony and in their plays, and Cleopatra, they'll make you think that these people, after Cleopatra, were Caucasians in Egypt, because they've given you modern Egypt that was taken over by the Greeks, instead of giving you ancient Egypt where they were Hamitic people. So that make you think that the Egyptians were Caucasian, when really they were taken down by the Greeks. This happened in 333, between 333 BC and 323 BC. It took them 10 years to take down these separate areas, where Alexander the Greek started ruling and giving them the knowledge to take down these different areas. And on his deathbed, he gave them direction through Satan how to take things down. Asia Minor, Lysimachus. A lot of you think that the Edomites are Japheth because they took over Asian land. Okay, the Greeks and all the Edomites took over lands like they took over America and other lands. Like they've taken Iraq and other lands now. If the Lord allowed them to continue, which we know is coming to an end, if we look 50 years to 100 years later, you would say that they were the original Iraqis. Because they've taken Iraq the same way they took America. They take America the same way they took America the same way they took Europe. So we go into the origin before they became these people that you can't identify. Cassandra took Macedonia. These are the 4 wings of a fowl. Let's go back to Daniel. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And after this I saw in the night visions, and beheld 4 beasts, a dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces.
That 4th beast is who? Rome. That 4th beast is Rome. It break in pieces. Even though Alexander the Greek knew war, he didn't know war like Rome. Read.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
It was different than all the beasts before it, the Roman Empire. Read. And the Roman Empire is from 323 to 193 AD, as far as the height of the empire.
And it had 10 horns.
And it had 10 horns. Now let's go through their 10 horns. And these are all European nations. Luxembourg, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, France, Spain, and Great Britain. These are the 10 horns that was controlled through Rome, which sat on 7 mountains. Okay? These are all European nations Who gave them dominion? Satan gave them dominion. Now, in case you think this is our personal opinion, was the Romans and the 10 horns following the God of Israel? I wonder. Let me run them all to you. Jupiter, Juno, Mars, Venus, Minerva, Neptune, Ceres, Vulcan, Diana, Bacchus, Mercury, Vesta. So in case you think that this is some personal vendetta or something we have, we just teaching truth. These governments, and Rome was a government, were pagan and were teaching against the Most High. And it was at its highest level. Through government, they were pushing the gods. Through religion, they was pushing the gods. But they got slick. They got slick. You're going to find out when they assumed themselves as America, when that daily wound was healed later on down the line, that they tried to be slick and say, well, there's a separation between church and state. Knowing that the church have already been infiltrated in the 4th century by the pagans. They didn't need to execute the rule of paganism through government because they've already tainted Christianity. It was pagan after the 4th century. But that's putting the cart before the horse. We didn't get to America yet. Go back to where you at in Daniel. Go ahead.
Verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
We're going to wait because we're going to go back to that little horn because we're going to find out that little horn is America. We're going to wait before we go to that little horn because we're going from ancient Babylon to Rome to America. Let's go to the Apocrypha. You have it there? Or you have one with it? Yes, right. I need you to go to Esau'S. 2nd Esau'S 12, 11 through 18.
Second Esau'S 12 and 11.
Read.
The eagle, whom thou sawest come up from the sea.
Now, in prophecy, Esau'S also seen the eagle, and we know the eagle are who? According to Obadiah, Edom or Esau. Read.
Is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him. Therefore, now I declare unto thee.
So it wasn't expounded unto Daniel because the Most High told Daniel to shut up the seals. So he didn't reveal everything to Daniel because it was sealed. But he revealed some of the secrets to Esau'S. Read.
Behold, the days will come, that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all kingdoms.
It shall be feared above all kingdoms. That was the Roman Empire. Read.
That were before it. And in the same shall 12 kings reign.
Shall 12 kings reign. I'm going to go through these 12 kings, which are actually Caesars. Julius Caesar, Octavian Augustus Caesar, Tiberius Caesar, Caligula Caesar, Claudius Caesar, Nero Caesar, Galba Caesar, Otho Caesar, Batilius Caesar, Vespasian Caesar, Titus Caesar, and Domitian Caesar. Vespasian and Titus are the 2 Caesars that took down the children of Israel in 70 AD. The serpent seed attacking the woman's seed. Get each one at a time. Now, mind you, all these Caesars didn't follow the God of Israel. They followed Jupiter, Juno, Mars, Venus, Minerva, Neptune, Ceres, Vulcan, Diana, Bacchus, Mercury, and Vesta. What did they follow? Who did they follow? Satan. Satan. That's who they followed. Okay? What are these? What are these, brothers and sisters? It makes us sick. These are idols. That's what these are idols. That's what they are. Let's get it out of there, man. Get Psalms. Get Psalms 96, alright? Get Psalms. These are idols. Every last one of these kings worshipped idols. And we're going to go back to Esau'S. You at 96? And read. Start at the 4th verse.
Psalms 96 and 4. For the Lord is great, and greatly to be praised.
For the Lord. Now the Lord is singular. Okay? He's singular. There's no need for all these gods. The Lord is great, and He's great to be praised. Read.
He is to be feared above all gods.
Our God, the God of Israel, Ahia is His name, is to be feared above all gods. Read.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
All the gods of the nations are idols. And guess what? In case you think that we're just pulling this out of the air, guess where these idols are erected today? In the Vatican Museum. The Roman Catholic Church. See, what they did, and I'm going to go into it a little later, they switched the name of these gods and hit them with biblical names. They gave these gods biblical names to deceive the masses into following Satan. Go back to Esau'S. What verse you left off at Esau'S?
Verse 14.
Read.
And the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another. Wherefore the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
That was Octavian. Go ahead.
And this do the 12 wings signify, which thou sawest. As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest, not go to out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof. This is the interpretation.
What verse you at?
Verse 18.
Okay, stop right there. Here's a book by Simon Scarrow called The Eagle's Prey. See the Roman army going out? Guess who is the eagle's prey? Every human on this earth are the eagle's prey. And what they use? Legislation, laws. To prey on the people. Okay. I got more. Here's one of the biggest idols. One of the biggest idols, brothers and sisters. The Statue of Liberty. Given to America by the French in 1886. Who was she before she was a Statue of Liberty? She was the goddess Ceres in Rome. And she's here in Rome with horns. Before she was Ceres in Rome, she was the goddess Astar or Easter in ancient Babylon holding a torch. Okay? Now we've shown you the origin of the worship of the sun. We showed you the origin of idolatry and the following of gods. Alright? Now we must move it from ancient Rome to the place we live in now, America. Let's go back to Daniel. Okay, and I want to show this in case people think that this is a figment of our imagination here. Somebody tell me what's going on in this image here. Is that madness? Absolutely yes. All right. It says here, above is a tablet from the early 9th century BC, which depicts the Babylonian sun god Shemesh seated on the right, holding emblems of his authority, a staff and ring, and the king with 2 attendants on the left and the center. See that? See that circle, that wheel? Let's see if we can find this wheel someplace else. Let's see. In the wheel is the emblem or the symbol of Baal. And you would never guess we have that same symbol on his hat. And look next to him. Who was Baal? Let's find out who Baal is. I think we have something. Baal. This is your Pope, folks. Your Roman, yes, Rome. Your Roman Pope. We're going to get him too. Baal. I think some people are going to feel a certain type of way when I read this, but I'm going to read it. It says, though the god Hadad or Adad was especially likely to be called Baal, Hadad was far from the only god to have that title. Right? Let me go down here to the end. Hadad was the son of El, who had once been the primary god of the Canaanites, Pantheon, and whose name was also used interchangeably with the Hebrew god Yahweh. So the YHWH that you're following today, from the Tetragrammaton, the Jewish people put that in the Tetragrammaton, knowing that it was the god of Baal, the same god that was worshipped in ancient Egypt and Babylon. So they have deceived you into thinking that the YHWH is the Most High when it's Baal himself. The Jewish people got you on the Hebrew side, and the Christians got you on the Christian side. And they all are following Baal. Symbol of the Babylonian sun god Shemesh. Right? It's right here. Under Satan's priests. That's who they are. Let's not put the cart before the horse, though. Let's go back to Daniel. Go there.
Daniel 7 verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were of 3 the first horns plucked up by the roots.
The 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. What 3 that was plucked up by the roots? France, Spain, and Great Britain. These 3, America came out of these 3. France, Spain, and Great Britain. That's who he came out of. Read.
And behold, in his horns were eyes, like the eyes of a man, and their mouth speaking great things.
Yeah, they speak great things. Who is more proud than America? Read.
Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
And the Most High says, it says in Daniel, he beheld till the thrones were cast down. That after this empire, the Most High was going to throw down in this earth. This is the last empire, the last superpower in the earth. Read.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
Who's the Ancient of Days? That's the Most High. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow, and his hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld, then because of the voice of the great words which the horn did speak, I beheld, even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed.
He says he beheld till what?
I beheld, then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld, even until the beast was slain.
Until the beast was slain. Go ahead.
And his body destroyed.
And his body destroyed. So that's the future of this place. Go ahead.
And given to the burning flame.
And given to the burning flame. That's the future for following Satan. Let's go to Revelations 13, 1 through 9. You got it?
Revelations 13 and 1. And I stood up upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his 10 horns crowns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads are the 7 empires that came before Rome. The 10 horns came out of Rome. Read.
And upon his heads the names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
And the 10 horns is who? The 10 horns is the common economic union, or who you would call the EU today. Read.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
Who gave him their power?
And the dragon gave him his power.
The dragon gave these empires their power. So you can't say that the Most High are behind these empires. The dragon gives them their power. That's why they fight against the Most High seed. Read.
And his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
And his deadly wound was healed. Yeah, they was wounded in 193 AD. But, as it says in this article, the Vatican again at peace with Italy after long quarrel. Healed wound of many years. When did this happen? This happened in 1942. No, 1927, excuse me. That's a different date. 1927 it began, and it was assumed and accomplished and signed in 1929. The deadly wound was healed. Let me read it. The Pope is again an independent sovereign ruler, as he was throughout the Middle Ages. Though his temporal realm established today is the most microscopic independent state of the world, and probably the smallest in all of history. February 12, 1929, the Pope became a sovereign ruler in the earth. That means he has no authority over him in the earth. He can do whatever he want to do. In 1929, And guess who helped him with this? Guess who set him up and helped him? Not only the Jewish factions, the American powers. Here they are signing the treaties so that this guy can get full power in the earth. Okay? It says here, Cardinal Gaspari and Benito Mussolini, seated after exchanging treaty ratifications in the Hall of Congregation, the Vatican, June 7th, 1929. Now the Most High is not behind none of this. Satan is behind the whole thing. Setting them up again. So that deadly wound was healed. See, but everyone was used to the power coming from Rome. That's why they used the little horn. She's the whore that Rome would use to separate themselves from the tyranny and the wickedness that would come from this country. So they can say, well, it wasn't us, it's America, when really, they're all together. But they use America as a whipping boy, as a takedown, as an extension of Rome to continue the Greeks, Romans, and the 10 horns conquest. America came out of 3 of the 10 horns. So they can use politics and TV to make everyone think that they're not together. But they are together. But envy and strife have developed against America. Because they came first and America is getting all the glory. So it tells us in Revelations that these 10 horns shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. That's the future of the place we live in today. Let me bring it around here. Okay? Let's go to Revelations. One moment here. Let's go to Revelation 17. What verse you left off at Revelation 13?
Verse 3.
Finish reading what you have. Read down to verse 9.
And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
And they did what?
And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the
So
beast.
those that are under this authority worships the dragon that gave power to the beast. So Satan is a god to be worshipped. Yes, in this earth. He gave them power, so in return for that power, the people under their rule have to worship Satan. In the 4th century, they integrated pagan belief, the same gods I pulled out earlier, with who? Pagan belief with Christianity. So they masked their pagan gods with biblical names. They switched the Sabbath day, which is Saturday, to Sunday because they was worshiping the sun under Nimrod well before there was a Roman Empire. While Christ was walking the earth, the pagan Romans was worshiping on Sunday. Okay? There's more. Read.
And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Who's able to make war with this beast? No one can beat America. That's how you know it's talking about America. But guess what? They're being spread thin. Their armies are spread thin now. Read.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth, and blasphemed against the Most High.
They opened their mouth and blasphemed the Most High. They drafted a constitution as total defiance of laws contained in the Bible. There was no need for a constitution. They blaspheme the Most High by making their own laws to vice the commandments. Read.
To blaspheme his name.
To blaspheme his name. Calling him Zeus, God, and all the pagan names. When you know his name is Ahia, which is I am. And also they spoke great words by changing the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday. Get Daniel 7 and 25 and 26. Read that.
Daniel 7 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And the saints of the Most High are being wore out. The saints are those that have served captivity in all these empires. They're the true saints. The saints didn't get no respect in the Roman Empire, even though they were Christians and followed Christ. They got murdered by the Romans. Okay? They got murdered. And they're still catching pain in this earth. Still being thrown in jail and persecuted unlawfully. Read.
And think to change times and laws.
And they would think to do what?
Change times and laws.
So they thought to change times and laws. What times? The times contained in the Bible. Switching calendars to try to offset prophecy. Changing laws. Switching the laws of God and telling people in the church they no longer have to follow God's law. The Roman Catholic Church did that. Switching the Sabbath, whom the Lord hallowed to himself, to Sunday to worship the sun, the S-U-N. The sun connected to the fire, or one that come out of the fire, which is Satan himself. Okay? Read.
And they shall be given into his hand, unto a time, and times, and the dividing of time.
And Jacob, which is the woman, was given into your hand for a particular amount of time, according to prophecy. But folks, we're at the end of that time. And the Lord is breaking our yoke. He's breaking the yoke off of our necks. And now it's Jacob's time. And Jacob will receive those promises that was promised to him. Only if he let go of the gods Esau exposed him to. Get me Revelation 17. Read that.
Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So there's a judgment on this great whore. But he's going to show the mystery of that great whore that sitteth on many waters. This is for those who say that that great whore is just Rome. That shows it's not just Rome, because she sit on many waters. She take her Christianity, or her brand of Christianity, everywhere. Okay, so you just can't say it's Rome anymore. You have to look at what superpower in the earth that have greater power than Rome to know who's the virgin daughter of Babylon and who is Rome today. Read.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
That's the first key. Of whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. What nation is made out of all the people in the earth? Or all the nations in the earth? America is. The fornication it have committed is spiritual fornication. Read. I'm going to show you an example of spiritual fornication that Rome have executed on the earth. Let's start with the Roman sun. He's here somewhere. Is he over there? The Roman sun, you see him? Oh, there he is. There you go. Caesar Borgia, the second son of Alexander the sixth Pope of Rome, was put up to be Jesus Christ. I need you to grab Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 8 to show you the fornication. The spiritual fornication that came from the Roman Catholic Church. Start at the 8th verse.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 8. But that which is made his hands is cursed, as well is it, as he that have made it. He, because
This
he
is cursed. Why? Read it.
Because he made it. And it, because being corruptible, it was called God.
Being corruptible, this was called God. They put this up to be Jesus. Then they tell you Jesus is God. So they're telling you this guy is God. Read.
Verse 9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto the Most High.
This was hateful unto the Most High. Who did this? God's people didn't do this. Edom did this. Read.
Verse 10. For that which is made shall be punished together with them that made it.
So those that made it, which is the Roman Catholic Church, which is really the spiritual government over the world, will be punished for its actions. Read.
Verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation.
On all these idols, Zeus, Minerva, and all these different idols they have, there will be a visitation by the Most High God of Israel. Read.
Because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and a stumbling blocks to the souls of men.
The Lord has said He's going to punish them because their religion and their idolatry have become a stumbling block for those that are seeking the Most High. They'll look for the Most High and run into a Catholic church and run into a church teaching Catholic doctrine. Or they will run into one of the daughters or one of the harlots that came out of the whore. Read.
And they snare to the feet of the unwise.
And it becomes a snare to those that don't really know the Bible. Go ahead.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
When they started these idol worships, it was the beginning of spiritual fornication. Spiritual fornication. That's what this is. Read.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Go down to the 21st verse. And with this came the corruption of life. Read the 21st verse.
Verse 21. And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
This was an occasion to deceive the whole world. Who did this? The Roman Catholic Church. And you can't say, well, that was just for that time. This image is almost up in almost every church you can find today. Of a man that was a wicked poisoner. Go back to Revelation 17. Read.
Revelation 17 and 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
Go ahead.
And the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
And they have made the whole earth drunk with the wine of her fornication. That's what's in your Pope's cup. Show me a scripture where you supposed to run around with a cup somewhere. With your head covered. When the Bible says in Corinthians that a man is not supposed to pray or prophesy with his head covered. What's in this cup? Lies. Wine of deceit. Paganism. Idolatry. Read.
Verse 3. So he carried me away in despair into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in...
Go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
She was arrayed in what?
And purple and scarlet color.
What color do this guy have on? Is that purple? And the cardinals have on what? Red. Scarlet. Read.
And decked with gold and precious...
With what?
With gold and precious stones and pearls.
Go ahead.
Having a golden cup in her hand.
Having a what?
Having a golden cup in her hand.
Having a golden cup in her hand. What do that cup represent? Hold that and go to Isaiah 29 and 13. Having a golden cup in her hand.
Isaiah 29 and 13.
Read that.
Wherefore the Lord said, For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
Their fear of the Most High now is being taught by the precepts of men. Now you're not following God according to what you read. You're following God according to what the Catholic Church told your churches they could teach. By the fear of men. The Catholic Church is the mother of harlots. What does that mean? All the churches that came out of her is harlots. I don't care what you call her today. She's the mother. Alright? You stay in Isaiah where you are. And go up to the 9th verse.
Verse 9.
What's in this cup? Read.
Stay yourselves and wonder.
The Bible says, stay yourselves and wonder. What?
Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine.
They are drunken, but not with wine. So that lets you know it's not a physical wine that's in this cup. It's a spiritual wine to make the minds of the people drunk. Read.
They stagger, but not with strong drink.
So the Lord is looking at us stagger from one church to the next, one belief to the next. Why? We're looking for him and can't find him. Because religion is in the way. The great whore is in the way. Read.
Verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
So if you drink of this cup, you're blind. You are blind if you drink of this cup. The modern day Christianity is in this cup. All of it. Read.
And have closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers.
So all the preachers that were set up under this guy, the preachers that go to your theologian seminary colleges got their understanding from this guy, directly or indirectly. They got a little bit, they got a sip off of that cup. Read.
The seers hath he covered, and the vision of all is become unto you, as the words of the book that is sealed.
And that's why the majority of Christians today don't even go into the Bible, because it's sealed. They claim to be Christians, but can't even read the book that their faith is founded on. Go back to Revelation 17. Read that.
Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color,
Go ahead.
and decked with gold, and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornications.
Abomination and filthy. So you can't separate wickedness and dealing with Satan from religion. Because that's who Satan comes through. He comes through religion. We showed you earlier that he would appear as an angel of light. Read.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots.
Why does it say mystery? It's a mystery because everyone thinks that she's righteous. Everyone thinks that the church that's teaching today is from God. That's why it's called a mystery. And Christ says, listen, take heed that no man deceive you. Many shall come in my name, saying I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Satan will come using Christ's name. And that was brought over here to America in 1492 with Christopher Columbus and his band of thieves. They set up the Queen of England. And the other Idumeans or Edomites set up shop here to destroy God's people, warring against the sea when they warred against the North American Indians and the Baliqua Taino Indians and the Mexican Indians, which are all from the woman seed Israel. Yes. They brought that wine over to make the people drunk. It says the mother of harlots, because all the churches that came out of the Roman Catholic Church are harlots also. Read.
And abominations of the earth.
It's an abomination of the earth. So now she's going to spread this abomination all over the earth. And no one will question what comes from this whore. Why? They're blind. Read.
Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. And
Hold up. What was she drunken with?
with the blood of the saints.
The same empire that destroyed the saints of Christ.
are now claiming to be Christ, and they're still destroying the saints by using Christ's name. Okay? Fake as a lamb, but really it's a dragon. But it's fake as a dragon. It's a lamb. It appears to be nice, but Satan is in the midst. Read.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua, and when I saw her, I wondered with great abomination, with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman.
Here's the mystery of the woman.
And of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And the beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit,
Go ahead.
and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world.
You're gonna find those that follow this religion and follow these empires that it rule. It's not written in the book of life. Broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Read.
When they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is.
So why are they beholding this beast? And why this beast is a mystery to the people? Because this beast or Satan appears as righteous. Read.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which have wisdom, the 7 heads and 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And
There's 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Those 7 mountains is Rome. Rome sits on 7 mountains. Read.
Verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come.
The other that didn't come yet was America at that time.
And
That's why John says in Revelation that 1 is. What was the one? What was the empire ruling during John's time? Rome. It is, and 1 have not come. It was talking about the future of America, the future kingdom. Read.
And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
So America, compared to all the empires that preceded her, has the shortest rule. Read.
Verse 11. And the beast that was, and is not, even he that is the 8th, even he is the 8th,
Go ahead.
and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition.
That's Satan. Read.
And the 10 horns, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet.
Those are the 10 we said originally. They didn't receive no kingdom yet. Why? Because all the glory went to America. Rome had to separate itself from this side of the earth. So it used America as its whipping boy. Read.
But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
So once America is totally annihilated, the 10 horns going to finally get their glory for a short space. Read.
These have 1 mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
Shall give their power and strength to who?
Unto the beast.
So these shall give their power and strength to the beast, to let you know that these get their power and strength from Satan. So when they set up churches in these governments and in these communities, they give their glory to Satan. Read.
Verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him, called, and chosen, and faithful.
And these same 10 horns, these same nations who claim they're following Christ and Jesus, have put weapons out in space to fight against our Lord. They've put weapons in space, waiting for the second coming, to war against the Most High, to war against Christ in the battle of Armageddon. They're going to lose. And those that follow and help those empires to do these things will lose. Will lose. Now, how do they get you? They get you through belief, religion, government, and practices of tradition. So they deceive you through tradition. I have here all the Roman festivals from January to December. Can't go through them all. I'll probably do this on a different video. But every holiday you have in America is related to a day in ancient Rome. And an idol or a demon is behind each day. So the days they give you, like Martin Luther King's Day, you think it's for Martin Luther King? No. They make sure they line it up with a day that they worship in ancient Rome and connect it with a demon that was worshipped in ancient Rome. Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, Easter, all these different New Year's, Washington Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christopher Columbus Day, you name it. There's a date in Rome for each holiday. And it leads to a statue, an image or an idol, and a demon in ancient Rome. You're going to find they made these communities to trap souls. America is Babylon the great whore that ought to be destroyed, contained in the Bible. There's a satanic connection between ancient Babylon, Rome, and America. Now, there's no way I can end this without showing you first who they're warring against. I showed you Esau. Here's Jacob. Get Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Read it.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord have a chosen. Okay? So Satan had to get with the Gentiles and these other empires to try to exterminate the chosen, knowing that Esau had a problem with Jacob being the chosen. Get Deuteronomy 10 and 15. Read it.
Deuteronomy 10 and 15. Only the Lord have a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them.
And he chose the seed of Jacob after them. So that seed is in the earth. And see, Satan, who is against the image of the Most High, and Edom, who is against the birthright and blessings of Jacob, are trying to stamp out the saints, are trying to destroy the saints, are attempting to try to stomp out the Most High's chosen in this earth. Get Deuteronomy 28 and 68 to show you the curses and what would happen to the children of Israel once they fell. The Lord had them fall for a time, knowing that one day he would raise them again. Read Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord shall bring you into Egypt, which means slavery, a second time. With what?
Again with ships.
Again with ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
And the real Jews would never see their homeland again after they go into the belly of ships. It was Edom or Esau, which are the Jewish people today, who claim to be Jews who are not, that financed Jacob's curse and financed the slave ships. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
There you shall be sold unto your enemies. Sold to Mr. Kennedy down in Kentucky. Sold to Mr. Smith down in Alabama. Sold to Mr. Johnson here in Pennsylvania. For what?
For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So the Lord tells us that we would go into that the real Jews would go into captivity. So once Jacob fell, there was Esau's opportunity to fulfill his promise against Jacob, that he would wait till his father passed and then kill Jacob. So Christ warned us. They tried to exterminate us in Rome under Vespasian and Titus. But those that understood Christ took heed to Christ's prophecy. Get the book of Luke. So that's how we came here to America. In ships, fulfilling the prophecy of the Bible. And mind you, this was written thousands of years before we came here. So the Bible is perfect. And now the Most High is taking our captivity off of us to identify not only us, but those that have done this to us. Not for vengeance, but to warn the people that the Most High, the same Most High that have raised us in the land of our captivity, is going to bring judgment on this earth.
Luke 21:20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. This happened in 70 AD. So Christ said, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, when the Roman armies come, flee into the mountains. The real Jews fled over the Atlas Mountains. Some went into Spain, but the majority went into Africa and settled in the Ivory Coast or the western parts of Africa. Read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries there enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
They shall fall by the edge of the sword. So Christ warned them and said, listen, if you stick around, you're going to be destroyed by these Romans. And guess what? They're doing it now in America. They are planning a mass massacre of God's chosen. They're cutting off the borders and preparing coffins all through America to finally accomplish what they couldn't accomplish in 70 AD. They're going to do this in other parts of the earth, but they're going to do this in America first. Read.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And the real Jews, or the Israelites, shall be led away captive into all nations. Read.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Of the who?
Of the Gentiles.
Until when?
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So there's Gentiles in Israel right now, not Israelites. Gentiles are ruling. Who? Esau or Edom. Why? Because he felt from the beginning that the birthright should have been his and that Jerusalem belonged to him. And he's going to fight to keep it, even if he have to fight the Most High. He's going to lose, but he will try. I want to read this on page 84. In the year 65 BC, and what I'm reading from Babylon to Timbuktu, author Rudolph R. Windsor, which was a professor in Temple University, okay? He found through his research and extensive travels that beyond any shadow of a doubt, the Negroes in America are Jews. All right? And get this, and you can also get all the references that led him to this conclusion. I'm going to read this on page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD. General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jew slaves. In Revelation the 12th chapter, it tell you, go to Revelations 12 and 12, and let's show this being fulfilled. Let you know the serpent is doing this. He did it to Christ in Rome. As soon as Christ was born, he tried to kill Christ. Then he did it to the disciples, and they did it to the real Jews in 70 A.D. The serpent seed against the woman's seed. Okay? Get Revelations 12 and 1. Read it.
Revelation 12 and 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Those 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel. That's that woman. Okay? And they are the woman that have been dispersed and have been enslaved through this earth. Okay? But now the Most High has heard their prayer through time and is ready to plead their cause. Finish reading what you have in Revelations. Read Revelations 12 and 12. Read that.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth.
Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth. Why?
And of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
The devil knew he have a short time. Read.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman.
We showed you the story of him being cast into the earth. He started persecuting what woman? Read.
Which brought forth the man-child.
He started persecuting the woman that brought forth the man-child. The man-child was Christ. So he started persecuting the people that had Christ, or those of Christ's lineage. Christ came from Jacob. Read.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of an eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness.
So she ran into the wilderness like Christ told her to, running from the Roman persecution, or the Idumeans, or Edom. Read.
Into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half time, from the face of the serpent.
That time and a half of time from the face of the serpent is a time where the Israelites would be protected from the serpent. The serpent was in Rome. The serpent was in Rome. He gave the Roman Empire power. And that was his opportunity to try to destroy those that brought forth Christ. Read.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood.
So because the serpent couldn't kill them all in Rome, he started spewing lies through the earth, through religion. That's your Christianity. Read.
As a flood after the woman.
That flood to overtake the woman. If we can't get them physically, we'll get them spiritually. Read.
That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
The flood is religion. That's why there's churches everywhere. Read.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth.
The earth helped the woman. Why? There's records and books that was a part of the original Hebrew canon that the Lord had given us to totally take down and destroy Christian dogma. Read.
And swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So with this information, we're able to swallow up the lies that came from the Roman Catholic Church, that went on many waters and eventually came here to America to set up. Read.
Verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
So because Satan was mad at the woman, the same way he was mad at Adam, and mad at all of the Most High's creation, it was his job to set up government to war against that seed that would one day fight against his seed. Read.
Which keep the commandments of the Most High, and have the testimony of Yeshua.
These are those that Satan is looking for. Those that not only follow Christ, but also keep the commandments written of in the scripture. Okay? With that, I'm going to say I'm glad, I hope this helped, that connection. When it comes to the paganism and the wickedness that came from ancient Babylon, I hope with this detailed scripture breakdown, you can connect the dots and and answer the age-old question. Are you following the Most High? or are you following Christ? Are you following the Christianity that Christ brought to the earth? Or are you following the Christianity the pagans brought or brung here on ships to America? With that, my name is Elder Brother Ricard, and we have Deacon and Brother Lawyer. And we hope we connect some of the dots for you. We're the Gathered of Christ Church, and brothers and sisters, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Rome, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon, system of worship. End times. We gonna liberate ourselves. Come out of her, my people. Last days. Let's go.
Rome was burning. Sodom and Gomorrah was visited. Before the fall, the writings on the wall. Babylon, years later, here we are. I can't interpret the writings on the wall. Scenes starting to look familiar as I look around. Pride go off before the fall, and that's what took them down. Spiritual Egypt, Sodom, Gomorrah, days of Noah, this Babylon, moments before the fall. There's a war going on outside, but in this banquet I see vanity. Look at the time, 11:59. The four horsemen are stampeding. I open the prophets and read it, writings on the wall. What's the meaning? Meanie, Tikal, Parson, Medes and Persians, rumors of war, head-on collision, no way to swerve it. Blue helmets, foreign insurgents. What's the verdict? Your days are numbered, your kingdom's divided. Ecclesiastes 1:9, it's gonna come a time. Recompenses for every crime, it's gonna be required. Till the bloodshed is avenged, the land is defiled. And they gon' see it when the Savior part the sky. Rome is on fire. Rome was burning. Sodom and Gomorrah was visited. Before the fall, the writings on the wall. Babylon, years later, here we are. I can't interpret the writings on the wall. The Father made me a watchman. I can't sit back and say nothing. Washing the blood off my hands. I see the time is drawing close. Babylon been doing the most. You've been judged and found wanting, divided. The writings on the wall. Resurrect the dry bones. Babylon is exiled. This is never my home. They had a legacy of crime, oppressing me and mine. Habakkuk 2:12 and 13. I see the signs. Got mercy for the rich, the poor they demonized. They had us fooled for a minute. Now we see the lies. Scattered but not forgotten. Abba kept Jacob's seed alive. It was all good until the fall. Now the writing is on the wall. Rome was burning. Sodom and Gomorrah was visited. Before the fall, the writings on the wall. Babylon, years later, here we are. I can't interpret the writings on the wall. Last days, they ain't believe us before. Now you see all these signs. Once you pay these laws, these prophets in their mind. Resurrect the dry bones. Babylon is exiled. This is never my home. What? 11:59.